Testing, and we are live. How's everybody doing? Thanks for dropping by. Bronze Dragon here. Episode 22 of our weekly Atlas Earth themed live stream on Sunday afternoon, where we just meet every week and discuss what's been going on within Atlas Earth and what we've been up to. It's been a pretty busy week. I guess the week before, I had kicked off the August challenges and bought 75 parcels. I had got into the mode of saving because I wanted to go ahead and save up and do another 25 so that I could meet my tier 3 and possibly tier 4 purchase parcels if I needed them for the challenge ladder. And then something came up personally, and we ended up having to drive for a little bit more than an hour this week to go to a meeting. And so I'm like, oh, I've got these Atlas bucks saved up, and I'm only 10 away from the 20% boost here. So I'm like, let's get the badges. So I'm happy to say that I did blow some Atlas bucks, 2,200 Atlas bucks, but I made it into the 20% boost passport tier this week, which I've been working on for quite a while. So I'm happy to say that. But now I'm back into savings mode. I'm not quite complete with the challenges for the ladder this month yet, but I'm within striking distance, and I'll have those probably done this week sometime. I do have an AMP mission up that would kick me over. And my wife needs a new air cleaner for her car, so I might go over to the auto parts store and just buy a new air cleaner for the car. You know, she went in for another problem, and of course they want to, hey, I need a new air cleaner. I need a new cabin air cleaner. And I'm like, well, we know how to change those, so we'll just go ahead and do those. Plus, get me some AMP rewards in the process. Let's see who's in chat. Donnie S. is here. Good evening to you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you happen to be in this fine world. I do appreciate your time that you spend with me. As I always say, there's one thing that is like gold in life, and that is time, because you only have so much of it. And you've got to choose where to spend it. So I appreciate you dropping by the live streams as well as watching my videos. And I do appreciate everybody that supports the channel through being a member or doing super chats and such. So I do appreciate it. It keeps me going, So, hey, it's Sherry is here. Good morning. We were chatting over in the Discord. Just by the way, I do have a channel Discord, and it's in all my my videos. You can check the more information about this live stream, and I have the link for it. We have a channel dedicated towards Atlas Earth. We have a channel dedicated to just general. We have a channel dedicated to Splinterland. So if you want to chat, you're more than welcome to go ahead and drop on by. And by the way, please leave a like on the video or the live stream, because that tells you YouTube, hey, there's a live stream going on and people are enjoying it. So I appreciate it. And as always, please subscribe if you're not always already subscribed if you like this type of content. Okay, all that out of the way. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. The Flash is here. Welcome, The Flash. Good morning to you as well. Hey, Lee is here. Lee says, good morning, sir. Good to see you. Do you partake in the Atlas apps part of the platform? Took me no more than 5 minutes to use the Credit Genie and get just under 3,000 Atlas bucks. Highly recommend. Well, that's a good question. The direct answer is I have not as of yet. The further answer, I'm pulling up the Atlas apps here. Some people have access to this. I think it's only people in the United States at this point. He's talking about this particular Credit Genie. And no, I haven't used it. I have seen heard some people give similar reports as far as what you just said, as far as getting a large amount of Atlas bucks off of it. I'm very wary about signing up for these services, and everybody's different. You're going to have to do your due diligence. And although it would be an easy 3,000 Atlas bucks, which is fairly expensive if you just bought them. And we all know it takes quite a while to, save up 3,000. You've just got to think about what this is possibly going to do, and I haven't even looked at it. But let's say it says boost your wallet with up to $150 cash advance, no interest, APR, no credit check, no late fees. So this is basically like a get a loan type thing. Very wary of these kind of situations. Now, let us know if anything, down the road, the next couple months, what comes up, if anything comes out of it as far as using it. Myself, I would probably not be apt to using that. I'm not saying it's not a fine service. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm very wary of those type services. But for those people that don't have the Atlas apps available, you can see these are kind of apps that are you wouldn't classify them games. There's a lot of these that I've seen that are like start using the app and watch basically soap operas or little shows or something. I don't need that. Here's an AI selfie editor. I don't really take selfies that much, and I know how to edit photos because I'm a photographer on the side as well. So Pogo, I've heard that. We've all seen like ads of that. So that's something that I might consider, but I haven't. I'm kind of at an app kind of breaking point, an app and game breaking point. I cover so many games and apps on my channel that at a certain point, I just don't have time to do new games. So, but if you say, what I would say is get back to us in a couple months and let us know how it's going. Are you being spammed? Did this result in some kind of result in something you didn't intend, etc.? There's the we word. We've all seen a ton of ads for books and audiobooks. Jamble is live videos. Once again, watching videos. Here's a perfume box. Looks like they're trying to sell you cheap jewelry and cheap perfume. First card, credit builder's card, credit services. Once again, all these things I would be very, especially if you're younger, I'd be very wary of just signing up for these without doing your homework on the apps themselves. At the risk of sounding like an old guy with a gray beard, I'm an old guy with a gray beard. And the reason I've got a very good credit score because I've been very wary of what I sign up for and what I use in my personal life as far as credit goes and that kind of thing. So I'm not saying they're a bad app. I'm saying that before you sign up for any of these services, do your homework, look at, what people are saying about it, YouTube reviews, other reviews, how they're, here in the United States, we have what's called a Better Business Bureau. In other countries, they probably have the same type of thing that they just call it different, something different. It's a place that they rate the businesses and the quality of the business, whether they're, people think a lot of them or whether they've had a lot of infractions over the years. This kind of thing goes through my head before I sign up for any of those services. So that's kind of a long way to say, no, I haven't used it. However, I am considering using those. This past week, I have been trying to take advantage or taking advantage of the last few days, the Arcade Boost event that's going on. And I actually downloaded Disney Solitaire, and I powered through. I'm almost to this next one where I get 60. I'm hoping to make it to that, but it's got this, it's one of those games. A lot of these type of games, I'm almost just like getting tired of because, the Solitaire, it works the same way in a lot of it. It's not the full old style Solitaire. It's like the a card comes up and then you have to pick, you get a card drawn that it has to be one up or one down from the other card, remove it from the play board and get to the next card. And it's all limited, there's ads involved and things like that, but I'm trying to power through that right now. So going back to the main screen, and currently I am working on trying to make that $450 mark, and I'm about 15 to 16 months in as far as playing. I had somebody on one of my videos this past week ask me, for a little bit of an update. I had been doing updates like once a week, but then I felt that maybe people just didn't want to hear a personal update every week. So I started doing them every 2 or 3 weeks, or whenever I had done like a parcel purchase or something else to tie in as far as the news. Okay, let's jump back into chat and see what everybody's saying. But I hope that answers you, Lee. I know I went off on a sideline there, but Lady Sharon's here, says good morning. Have to boost. Be right back. Martin Ray's in the house. Welcome, Martin. Says hi, Bronze. I've been working on badges and I've 3 left to get that 25%. That will be so sweet. There's such a huge interval between 20 and 25%. It took me quite a while to get 20%. And it actually boosted my, let's go over to Kurt. I was surprised. I'm wondering why the AE calculator does not keep my dark mode on. I always switch dark mode on. For those of you that sit in front of a computer all day long with multiple screens, I'm in IT, dark mode will save your eyes so much over the years. If you're young and you say, oh, I'm not worried about it, worry about it now. Okay, keep dark mode on. Anyway, my point is I was surprised about how much, just going from 15 to 20% badge boost took me up. So you can see that I'm at 61 badges now, and I was at $1.45 a day, or $531 a year. Now, if we backtrack and go below 61 badges, that takes it down to $1.39 a day, or $509. So I made like 20, what was that, 509 to, $20, $22 more per year, just kicking it up from the 15% to the 20% boost. And if you're relatively new, what we have here, this is an old school reference. What we have here is failure to communicate, but that's from an old school movie. But call out the movie if you remember it. I know it is. Extra points if you remember the movie. So we have 2 main types of boost in the game. And what I'm discussing are the passport boost. And you can see I'm up to 20% now. That's a flat boost that's on at all times. Even if you're not manually boosted, like you boost through watching ads, this percentage is on at all times. So that's what we're discussing. The other boost, which we talk about in relation to your tiers, that's only on when you're actually watching the ads and staying boosted. You still want to stay boosted, right? But the value behind getting these passport badges, which I want to do a video about, just kind of, I've talked about them quite a lot in the past. But it's always kind of a sideline compared to my main topic. I want to make a main topic about the badges and talk about them because, when a new player comes in, it's kind of a little bit confusing, the 2 different types of boosts and what they're good for, and, Okay, let's jump back into chat. Cerezy's here. Welcome, Cerezy, a member of the channel, supporter of the channel, says, good morning. I've been working on a new arcade game this week. What arcade game are you working on? Like I said, I just started on the powering through the Disney Solitaire, but it's gotten to the point where it's hard to get enough coins to actually do a few hands in a row. I can get enough coins like once per hour to do a hand, and then I have to shut it down, that kind of thing. They want you to spend money in it and everything. Donnie S says, I'm at 1,535 now. I need 65 more. It's good to have a plan. Power Daz is in the house. Welcome, Power Daz. Thanks for dropping by. Hey, it's Sherry. Says, I still have to plan for a road trip to get to the 20%. Yeah, this one just kind of came up this week. A legal matter between me and my neighbor. Had to go see my lawyer, and it was an hour, a little bit more than an hour drive. And I'm like, well, I've got the Atlas bucks. Might as well. I just gave my phone to my wife. I'm like, whenever you see one pop up, buy it. And we finally got the ones we needed, and then I told her to quit buying them. Because I was driving, obviously. Sherry says, I'm very bad at saving Atlas bucks, though. Yeah, it's kind of hard. You kind of want to spend them. It's not hard for me. I can see where it would be hard for some people. For me, I know, especially Annalise's a completely different type of player than I am. Oh, she just continues to buy parcels. I've always been the logical. I kind of like to have a plan, like I talk about a lot, and I like to buy in chunks. It doesn't mean you have to do that, right? Like I say a lot of times, there's many different ways you can play this game. It's just I always like to advertise, just know your numbers, know what they mean, know how the game actually works, and make your own plan, because everybody's going to play at a different rate. From country to country, there are different rates, and it's easier or harder. You have to have more or less depending upon the country you're in, and everybody gets a different feel. After you've played for a month or two, you get a feel for what kind of Atlas bucks are going to come in with the way you play. Now, if you want to get more Atlas bucks, then the answer is increase your play, right? And my dog was just barking at somebody. But increase your play. More mini games, more arcade games, more surveys, that kind of idea. But once again, we get back to the topic of there's only 24 hours in a day, and you've got to pick how much time you invest. Okay, let's see how. Let's go back into chat. Retro Review says, "Hey, Bronze Dragon, good afternoon. What is it about Atlas Earth that keeps you playing?" I've asked myself that several times. I like the idea of land accumulation games, being able to have a plan and logically proceed through a game, getting more, more land. And many different games have this kind of aspect to it. It doesn't have to necessarily be land. It can be gear, stuff like that. But proceeding through the game and watching my rent that I'm earning go up. Is it a huge amount of money I'm making? No. I like the gradual, logical progression of the game. That's the main thing I like. Obviously, the other thing from a play to earn perspective, I like the fact that this game is very easy to get your money. Okay, there's a lot of games they make you jump through hoops, and you can't really get money. You can get a card to Amazon or something like that, which is fine because I'd probably spend an Amazon gift card. I buy all kinds of stuff, right? Or a Target gift card or something like that. But this is very easy just to dump your money out straight to PayPal or your bank account or whatever. And in other situations, there are more hoops to jump through. So as far as the game goes, I like the logical progression, the figuring out how to best make progression of the game, advancing through collecting parcels and doing that strategically to get more mayorships, governorships, presidentships if you're up on the top end, or prime ministerships or whatever. It's the same kind of thing, just called different names in different countries. I like that gradual progression and the strategic part to it. So. Plus, it gives me something to talk about on my YouTube channel. Just being real, right? Martin Ray says, credit app bit may affect your credit score and stop you getting credit or special effect being done to get a mortgage. That's interesting. Whoever was the first one that brought this up, when you check your credit score, let me know if they did a hard or soft credit check against your credit score. To some people, it doesn't matter a whole lot, but to some people, it may have a great effect, especially if you're right in the position, you're a younger person, you're trying to buy your first house or buy your first car or something like that. That may have a great effect on your credit score. And there's a difference. And this is not a credit score class because I'm not an expert. I just know from life, that there's a difference between a hard check and a soft check. So the hard check makes a much bigger impact on your credit score. Let's see here. Alex Bernard says, Golem still playing? Yes, I'm still playing Golem Overlord. The game has just kind of a couple minutes we haven't talked about it a lot. Usually we talk about it on the Saturday stream, but yes, I'm playing, and we're still advancing, and you can still buy, sell, trade, and play the game. He just hasn't put much, if at all, any work in it lately. And his last statement was the fact that he's got a lot more life going on and working, and so I've started like taking a little bit out of it and selling off a little bit of the part and shard. So, but we're still advancing. Our guild is still advancing, still making headway. So, okay. Lady Sharon says, I think a lot of those apps are for paid services. I would agree after looking at the ones I've seen. In my opinion, if you're going to use them anyway, check if they are in the app section of the AE first. WeWord. Well, you know, kind of on that, I didn't do WeWord. I chose to do Cash Walk, which I've been doing. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks. And I was trying to get several weeks under my belt doing Cash Walk to be able to do kind of like a little video and kind of give some numbers and stuff. You know, my first take on these kind of apps is it's not going to be a ton of money, but you're going to be walking anyway. So why not make some gift cards off of it? You know, I know the Cash Walk, you get gift cards. I haven't seen a place that you can download what you make off PayPal or anything. Plus, I'm in a situation where I'm waiting for next month with the new Apple Watches come out to get a watch, because it'll be my first Apple Watch to keep my steps and everything. But I had been using this what was this called? One of the other ones. Anyway, it's not been working well. Fitbit. Sorry, brain fart. I've been using Fitbit for years, but I'm switching over. And either way, with that, it should make it easier to count my steps. And my initial opinion is it's worth it. I mean, you're going to be walking anyway. There's a difference between just playing it and then making the most money off of it. So I'll have to do a video on that. Kind of went off track there because of she mentioned WeWord. Cerezi says that's the game I've been playing this week too, the Disney Solitaire one. Yeah, I mean it reminds me very much of one that I used to play before I started playing Atlas Earth, and it was something about a golfing game, and it had like this little squirrel or chipmunk, something like that. I enjoyed it. It's one of those games. It's a very similar type of solitaire. It's an easy solitaire to blow through for a while. Lady Sharon says, unfortunately, not a lot of possible rewards for Atlas Earth, and I did all the walking goals already. They did count for arcade, though, even though they apparently are not supposed to. Yeah, I've heard a few people bring that up, and Annalise had said that, a few things about it. Said apparently, sometimes they click through and count for them. I don't think they're necessarily supposed to, from what she said, but it is what it is. Retro Review says, I just joined the Sezzle app subscription on Atlas Apps, didn't get the 1,488 Atlas bucks, and $64 purchase failed, although I'm approved for $300. Like I said, I would be very clear. Just directly on your statement, if the purchase went through and you are owed points, I would make sure that you open a ticket and provide the screenshots of the information that proves you did what was supposed to be done, because that's a lot of points to give up, right? Especially if you're paying $65 for it. Anne's here. Welcome, Anne. I don't want to say your last name, and I'd probably butcher it. Sorry. Anne says, I'm loving the new challenge settings, which rewards activity in playing rather than winners only. Mini games are fun again. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're just trying this out, because one of the problems I've seen since they've switched the mini games from the 2 Atlas buck charge per mini game to the ads are supporting the pots for winning, right? You know, and if you're relatively new, if you played a mini game, you used to have to pay 2 Atlas bucks to play a mini game. Pay a mini game. A lot of people complain about that, so they found out a way to have the mini games without paying the 2 Atlas bucks. And what that involved is us watching ads. So the ads we watch are the money that goes into the pot, right? Okay. And they've changed that around from the ads coming after the play to before. But the whole point is on the backside of that, a lot of people that are the better game players are complaining that the pots went down. Excuse me. So I think they're playing with that, right? Because they're trying to figure out how to bring the pots up. And obviously, it's logical. If the pots are supported by ads, then the way to bring the pots up is have people watch more ads, right? They've tried it the other way, the win, X amount, and they've played around with that number for a while. So I think they're trying this out. Obviously, I think it's my opinion. This is not coming from the team or anything. It's my opinion that they kind of looked at the numbers, the average numbers. So the first one on win was win 4 mini games, right? So I think that they went to 10 as far as play goes, because I'll just speak for myself. If I had to win 4 mini games, I was probably playing 10 or 12 games, because I don't score well on the games. Sometimes I get more lucky, but I think if I had to take an average, 8 to 12 in there, 10 probably being average to get those 4 wins, right? And they took that and went with it. So that would require, people to play 10 games, right? And that's 10 commercials. If you didn't have a problem like I've had in the last couple days, this last time I played Racer was the last one I played. The ads were freezing and different things. No, it wasn't the ads. It was the matchmaking. So I'd watch an ad, then the matchmaking would just sit there and spin. And after a couple minutes, I'd be like, okay, I have to turn off the app, relaunch it. Then guess what? You have to watch another ad. So, you're watching multiple ads, which is good for the pot, right? But it's frustrating for you as a player, right? So I think that ultimately I'm just going off of what she was talking about. I think some people like the play. I have no problem with it. I like it. I prefer it. It also brings in this side dynamic of people just turning on the game and just doing nothing, and then the other people are playing. And then, you get a certain percentage of people that are just watching the ad, getting into the game, and just sitting there, right? So I'm sure they can look at those numbers on the back end, but I'm sure what they're really concentrated on is those pot sizes and how, what people are saying about it, whether people are happy, whether people are not happy. And my take on it is they'll probably do it for this month and next month, and they'll play around with the numbers a little bit and draw the data off the back end to see what's happening with the pots. Obviously, whenever we can kind of get a view of what the pots look like, after the games. We've got a game today, so I think it's bowling. Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but no, fishing. I think it is. We can start seeing whether the pots go up or down. But the thing is, they've always said this is a work in progress. Okay, so they're playing around with it. One thing is, I've played since they first started in November, right? And I've completed the challenge ladder every time. Now, those first couple months were more difficult, right? Especially the first month. But once they got their feet wet and they started looking at the numbers and making changes, the one thing you can plan on is these numbers, and the challenges and the order of them and such are all going to change, and we may see new challenges entered. Since it started, we've had the new mini game, rock paper scissors, added. So that affects the numbers as well too, because they have another mini game to add. So personally, I like the play because it reduces I know I have to play more mini games, but I'm not so stressed out and racking my brain about actually winning, because there's some situations like rock paper scissors. You know, you're trying to get a win, and you get into a situation where one game takes you several minutes each, right? Because you keep getting a tie or something like that, and then you lose, and then you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden you've wasted an hour and not even gotten your challenges done. So either way, let me grab a drink here. Stop for a minute and say thanks for everybody for dropping by. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate everybody spending time with me and liking, subscribing, and joining if you want to support the channel. Okay, let's see. Where were we? Donnie S. says, I heard a rumor about a monthly chest day. There are hidden chests that you can find on the map that contain a parcel upgrade from common to rare. You heard anything about it? No, that sounds like BS. Annalise says, we do not currently have that in game. So she should know. Yeah, I've never heard of that, and I've never seen one. It'd be interesting, but haven't heard of that. Bladester says, hi, how are you doing, Bronze Dragon? And folks, I'm doing well. Hope you are too. I finished that door on my shed, if you're interested, and we put the new latch and everything on it last week. I got one last piece to put on the door, and I was wanting to measure it, and I opened up the new, when you put a new latch, you know, one of those sliding bolt type things on, they're kind of tight to start with, and then they loosen up over time. And I smacked my thumb with it yesterday, and blood was splurting everywhere. Let's see here. Back to game chat. Bladester says, I'm at 218 parcels. Was lucky enough to now be mayor of my own town. Nice. Hopefully those Atlas bucks for badges will start flowing in. They're nice. I had a decent amount of Atlas bucks come in because of badges this past week. But it goes to the discussion back. I was talking about this with somebody this last week about choosing where you want to be mayor of and what's worth using the Atlas bucks for. And there's like some places where I'm mayor and it only took me 100, 150 to become mayor of, and I just don't earn any Atlas bucks off of those because of badges, because they're small, out of the way areas, you know. But I have some places that took a decent amount, which I earn Atlas bucks off of selling badges every single week. So it's an interesting idea. I fall upon the idea of areas which have a large amount of population, and or areas that have a lot of through traffic, like a highway, interstate going through them, where people can drive through and buy badges, etc. when they're traveling. Obviously, though, those location centers like larger cities and everything like that are going to be cost more, right? So there's an offset. You know, it costs more to become mayor, but you also earn more Atlas bucks. So interesting conversation, though. Because currently there's really there's no other advantage of becoming a mayor of an area except for if somebody buys a badge in your area. So Alex Bernard says, cool hand Luke was a movie. Exactly right. Exactly right. And it was actually quoted in a Guns N' Roses song as well. What we've got here is a failure to communicate. And you get what we had here yesterday. Well, if that's the way he wants it, that's the way he gets it. I don't know why that's burned in my brain. Cerezi says, I've made it to the Toy Story scene, but it takes 12 to 15 stars now to build new items. Definitely will be a grind. Yeah, as you go up, it just takes more and more, and you hit the locking point of not being able to play because they want you to spend on it, right? Sherry says, the Flash says, Also grinding the Disney Solitaire, completing some of the side events boost the coin a ton. I'll have to look into that. Still tough if you have a couple bad hands. Sherry says, yep, I buy a parcel as soon as I hit it out, 100 Atlas bucks. Bladester agrees that strategy is important. And Red X liked the live stream. Appreciate it. Bladester goes on to say, yes, I've been busy being active the last 20 plus days. I need to keep it up. Would be nice to do some extra stuff to jump tiers faster. Yeah, a lot of it just comes down to more activity, doing more here. And, trying to plan your weeks. What I've tried to do is plan my activity to line up with the bonuses. That's another nice new thing they've thrown in this last several months is the bonuses. Like I'm trying to work on the arcade bonus, but there's the weekly Tuesday or Wednesday they have the survey bonus. Work on those type of things when you can actually get a bonus out of it. Luke's in the house. Welcome, Luke. Says, hey, watch your videos every time you post. First time watching live. Question. I'm from the UK, and is it possible to earn £1 a day? And if so, how much parcels would you say you need to achieve it? Well, I would say yes, it is possible, definitely. I don't know let me look at what the conversion rate. You can see right now that on average I'm making almost $1.50 US a day. What's the pound? I'm looking up the pound to dollar conversion today. So 1 British pound equals 1.34 US dollars. Yeah, I can say you can look at my numbers and it would be a little bit more, but you'd be in the right ballpark. So I'm at 14. Well, let's look at, I'd have to do a look at the numbers because, you'd have to look at the UK tier set and look at that. But yes, it is definitely possible. Let me take this off here. And like I said, you're going to have to do your own numbers, but let me take a good guess. And I don't know. You would have to probably be at the top my guess is you'd have to be right in the 2 times tier in the UK. So my guess would be, I'm looking at this chart here. Let me look at something here. Like I said, this is just a roundabout guess. 531. Yeah, it would be between this tier in the UK. It would be between 3 times and 2 times. I would probably guess around 1,000 parcels somewhere. Like I said, I would have to take a calculator and do that math further. But what you could do is you could come over here on the Atlas Earth calculator to answer your own question. And up here at the top, what you're going to want to do is click global because the UK fits in the global tiers, and then input your numbers here, and then you can play around with the numbers and see and watch this daily average and yearly and monthly average go up. I would just play around with that, but just for argument's sake, I would start around 1,000 parcels and see where that end leaves you. Okay, but yes, it is possible. It just takes work. Like here in the U.S., I had to have this many. I'm at almost 1,500. 1,500 is the top of my 3 times tier, and then after that, I'll be planning what to do going into the 2 times tier. But I had to have this just to be able to make. And like I said, it's about almost $1.50 a day, which is kind of in the neighborhood where you want to be because of the difference between, currently the British pound equals $1.34. So same kind of neighborhood. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Luke. Alyssa's here. says, hiya, hope all is well with everyone. Well, I hope everything's well with you as well. I'm halfway saved up for my jump to 220 parcels. Feeling excited. Yeah, it is. It takes a while, especially when you're getting used to those first few tier jumps. It takes a while to save up, and then as you're getting closer, you're just like feeling it. And you got to get a plan where you're going to put those parcels down, and then it's a fun time going and actually doing it and coming back and putting your new numbers in the calculator and see how the numbers jump up. Bladester says the AMP app seems to have an issue crediting when folks use advance auto. Every time I purchase something, I need to file complaint. Hopefully they fix this. Yeah, they've got the process in. That's why you always save your receipt, right? Take a picture of the receipt on your phone so you have it. And then you wait a week, and if you haven't gotten credit for it, then go ahead and put in the ticket. It's just my feeling that they really have to work. They have some bugs to work out in the system because it all has to do with how the credit is actually run through the system. And I don't know any of the behind the scenes facts, but I have the same thing happen. Now, with me, my Advance Auto Parts works just fine. I walk in, put my credit card in there, it works fine. But there are other places that it doesn't work fine. And I've run into a situation where sometimes, like I've talked about before, I order some food off of some local. Like we used to have Salad Works, and let me open up the Salad Works. This is a way to earn a little bit extra off of your earnings. Obviously, they are not on the program anymore, but a lot of these restaurants have their own apps where you can earn points and you earn it's a way to earn extra. But my whole point is sometimes when you order through the app, it works with AMP and you get credit for it. Sometimes running through the app does not. The whole program relies upon that charge from the charge card being a credit charge and not a debit charge. Okay. So that's about all I can get into it because that's about all I know. But I also have problems with some of the places not getting, like there's a sandwich shop. Let's see here. Jersey Mike's. Love their sandwiches, right? Have them one relatively near my work so that I like to get sandwiches once in a while. Every time I get that, I know that I have to get the receipt and put in the ticket, So, and unfortunately, they've taken off a good deal of the actual places around here that I use. So I'm not using the AMP program as much as I used to. So, and Ann says Fitbit. You are correct. I have used a series of Fitbits over the years, and I used to like the Fitbit service, but since Google's bought them, I don't like them anymore. What they've done to the actual functionality of the Fitbit and what it does and the hoops I have to jump through, because I'm on an Apple phone. To get the actual walking apps to see the Fitbit, I have to install a third-party app to actually sync everything, and it's just a hassle. I'm just buying an I don't like the shape of an Apple Watch. It's square. I don't like a square watch, right? I like a round watch. I know Samsung has it, but that's defeating the purpose. That would be great if you had a Samsung phone. I guess my internet connection just went down. Sorry if everything flashed there. My connection to YouTube just blanked out. So sorry about that. What I was saying is Samsung Watch makes sense if you have a Samsung phone. Apple Watch makes sense if you have an Apple phone, because if you try to cross use them, there's a bunch of hoops you have to jump through and you reduce your functionality. Anyway, it all comes down to I don't like square watches, but I'm going to have to put up with it. Hey, it's Sherry. Says, I open the mini games and I just sit. Good news for anyone paired with me. Easy win. I don't think I keep my eye out on the people I'm playing, and I haven't battled lately anybody I know. Anne says it's Polish. Says her last name is Janicko. Yeah, I'm very wary about. I don't like mispronouncing people's names, so thank you for that. Preview this says, sorry, I'm a bit late. Sherry says my smallest Mayorships is 6 parcels. Wow, there's nothing around here this low, that low. I was talking to somebody earlier in my Discord. I think the lowest around here was like 100. I had to come out of pocket 125 parcels just to get the lowest one. And I'm sitting at 150 in 2 of my different Mayorships, and I don't sell any badges in them. Or up to this point, I might have sold 1 or 2, but not much. But the other ones, any other area around my area, like this new location, I've started on this month, started to take over, but it's going to take me a couple, 2 or 3 months to build on. It's going to take like 350 just to take it over. And then I'm probably going to have to slap another 100 on there just to kind of get a little bit of a safe feeling as far as, and then you get into the neighborhood of, well, are they going to fight back? Are we going to have, there's somebody was on my Discord this morning that was like, yeah, I took over and I had 100 parcels and then somebody fought back and they took it back over, something like that, So you always got to be wary of, people wanting to take it back, right? DJ Dub Stomps in the house. Welcome, a member of the channel. Thanks for supporting. Says, played since day one. I have 5,536 parcels and am the mayor of 5 cities, number 2 in the state of Alabama. Nice. I used to live down there. I used to live in Louisiana. I used to travel through Alabama every time, going, several times a year coming home. But used to have friends that lived up in Alabama. Lady Sharon says, hey, it's Sherry. Wow, lucky. Do you get any revenue from it, though? And Sherry says, I do not. Yeah, it's all about amount of people and how many people are going through that. Like this place this next area I am trying to take over has 2 or 3 large shopping centers. So it gets a lot of traffic, and it's sitting right off a major interstate. So I'm fairly happy about putting parcels into that one. And I'm crossing my fingers that it ends up being one that draws a few badges a week. Sherry says, cell service is terrible over there in that area of rural Quebec. So I don't expect I'll ever get any. Also, someone badge hunting will probably take the mayorship before snagging the badge. Yeah. Yeah, I ran into that. This other place, this last place I took over, I was talking about, I only needed 125 to take it over. I was down there and I had like no cell service. I had to walk around the block, and there was just like one corner of this block that I wanted to buy the parcels at. And it's just like I had to stand in this one area and buy parcels, because if I moved outside of that area, then I would not have cell service. I guess I could have tried to connect to one of the restaurants that was theirs Wi-Fi, but I didn't want to fool around with that. DJ Dubstomp says that they make $1.91 US a day with 5,536 parcels. AJ's here. Welcome, AJ. Says, I'm from the UK and at 875 parcels, earning 31 pence daily and over 10 pounds in Super Boost days. Hope you're well, Bronze Dragon. Well, thank you. I hope you're doing well, too. So there's a better answer. The other person that was asking about UK numbers. It's really all about that super rent boost. The thing that I like to try to impress upon people is it's as you play along and accrue more parcels, you become less worried about that tier boosting and what rate you're getting on a daily basis, and more interested in making sure that you get all those SRB hours in, because you go from being from most of your profit, most of your rent coming from your tier boost, to most of your profit coming from the SRB as you climb the ladder. So just understand that and plan accordingly. And don't miss any super rent boost days, however many parcels you have, or super rent boost hours. In fact, those are the only days I have that I get up in the middle of the night and boost. Otherwise, I don't worry about it. I lose a few hours. Sherry says, I would love Wendy's on AMP in Canada. Their apple pecan salad is so friggin' good, and I would order that way too often. Yeah, that was kind of like me with SaladWorks. There for a long time, I was getting 4 times AMP bucks on SaladWorks, so we ate a lot of salads around here. I'd probably order them once a week. I got to the point where I was kind of tired of salads. But yeah, it just all comes down to advertising. In this case, Burger King used to advertise with the AMP program. They no longer do that. In this case, Wendy's would have to make the choice to advertise with the AMP program. I think a lot of people get that wrong, that whole idea wrong, because a lot of people are blaming Atlas Reality on, hey, why don't you have good restaurants or whatever. It's not their fault. It's the restaurants who are choosing to pay their advertising dollar to Atlas Reality. I'm sure their Atlas Reality is going out and doing their due diligence on trying to get customers, right, for the AMP program. It's just the other companies, and we're living in a time and place where companies are trying to cut back as much as they possibly can everywhere. And a lot of times the marketing budget is one of the first things to go. So. Donnie S. says, Annalise, can you share something and give an update here? Good for the channel. Is there anything you'd like to know about? Something new in Atlas Earth, a big upgrade or something. Lady Sharon says, okay, I had to pause, so I'm behind, but I just want to mention I have an iPhone 16. That's the same version I have. I have one of the bigger ones. So, and I have no problem connecting Fitbit to it. So my Fitbit connects to it, but it doesn't sync right as far as with the Apple Health apps and with the Cash Walk. So have no problem connecting Fitbit to WeWord. I also have a Charge 6, so I don't know if that mine's like 3 or 4 years old. I forget the model number. And of course, I have the Fitbit app itself. I do too, and they've changed that around radically as well. Annalise says, we have so many things that are coming very soon and are very exciting, but I don't know what is coming first. Well, I can say this on that. I love saying that. But and I can't mention any details, but there's an interaction that I had with a member of the team this last week that got me pretty excited about some upcoming things. And I know this is just a teaser, but because I can't, she asked me to not discuss it, but it's some interesting stuff coming down the pike. And when it comes about, then obviously I'll be able to make some videos on it. But, as always, I'm not paid by the team other than what I get, the rent I get out of playing the game, right? But this interaction I had this week was very interesting and fun oriented, and I'm looking forward to seeing this come out. Okay, let's go on with chat. I've got a few minutes left. Kev Dog Millionaires in the house. Welcome, Kev Dog. Says, how's it going, Bronze? Checking in up to 1,776 parcels. Nice number there. Says, go America. One mayorship with a 400 parcel lead, saving up to take the county over. I almost said country. Saving up to take the county over, sitting at 8,000 Atlas bucks, but we'll need about 50K to take it over. Yeah, I know how that goes. I was trying to save up 2,500 to get my 25 extra parcels I needed, and then I just decided to dump them on badges yesterday. But it was well spent because now I'm up to the 20%. So now I'm resaving up. I am at 1,800. I think 1,800, if I'm reading that right. But I need to get to 2,500, and I'm going to buy 25 extra parcels at that shopping center, which I did last week. So buying one parcel a day in the interim and saving the rest to make some sort of progress. Donnie says, can you give more details about it? Annalise says, not until I know exactly what it is coming next. Yeah, it's tough when you have multiple work streams going on at one time and you don't know. That's why they kind of fell back on, I would like to hear more about what they're actually working on, right? because some of the things that were on the roadmap as of last fall and early this year have dropped off. I'd like a better accounting for what's actually on the roadmap, right? Obviously, they've talked about the new feed coming out, and they've talked about the landmarks and the auction coming out. So we'll see. Shaman 15's here. Welcome, Shaman. How you doing this week? To earlier question, can you make £1 a day? Every 2,930 parcels you make $1 US. My current parcels, I make 41.55 per day as long as I'm boosted all day. Well, there you go. Shaman 15 should know. Playing at the top of the game for quite a while. Donnie says, Annalise, next week here in the stream, you can give us a big update. It's good for Bronze Dragon and his channel. Well, I talk to her once in a while. And Donnie S. Kicks in with a £6 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. But we talk once in a while, and usually, I mean, it's not required, and I appreciate her, interfacing with me. But usually, once in a while, if there's something big come out, she'll let me know. But I try to stay on top of it, and if there's a question in my mind, I ping her over, and she's usually hot on the topic. Usually very good about staying abreast of the situation and giving out the information you can. Obviously, she's in this situation where you're playing between the company and the rest of us, and there's some stuff you can talk about, there's some stuff you can't talk about. So, and Annalise says, see, this is why I can't say anything yet. I am in the know, but we can't say anything until we are live with it. Yeah, you have to be. The thing is I've dealt with a lot of teams bringing new games and keeping games going and everything along the last few years having this channel. And you want to err on the side of being careful, because as soon as you put something out there, like a new thing, then obviously the people that play the game they're going to want that as soon as possible, right? And if you put a date behind that, then they're going to hold you to that. And that's why. And it's not just Atlas Reality. There's a lot of different gaming companies, especially with, like, I play Splinterland. So they're the same way. They learned over the years that you have to be very conservative and be very careful before you put any dates out, right? So it's like being gun shy. You get shot in the foot once and you're gun shy from then on, right? So I'm sure she'll give us the news whenever she can. And she's been very good at putting out alerts. I would advise, if you aren't a member, become a member of the official Atlas Earth Reddit and the Discord. Generally speaking, both the same information she posts both places. Reddit seems to be a little bit saltier. I've kind of pulled back on my interfacing there because people will just slam you for anything over there. But the Discord is usually fairly active, and she keeps the announcement sections. In fact, they just redid the Discord here a little while back, so it's a little bit more organized. Lots of different sections to discuss things in, and an announcement section where she puts the announcements out when there are some. Van is in the house, coming in right at the end of the chat. Says, hello, chat. I'm going to be moving to the States from the UK next year for a semester. Will I get the extra Atlas bucks from ads as well as the other features exclusive to there? Yes, Van, you will. Playing Atlas Earth is everything is based upon where you presently are. Okay, so when you move over here, you will start to play by the U.S. tier chart. So you look at your tier charts and go by that by numbers. You will start getting the 2 Atlas bucks for watching the ads, and you will start seeing all the different changes. You'll be playing as somebody who just lives here normally. Okay. David Shearer is here. David says, Atlas Earth beginner here, 6 parcels and 18 cents in the rent coffers. Well, welcome, David, and thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you found the channel. I've got a ton of videos. I looked at the number over the last year, a little bit more than a year. I've done more than 160 videos on Atlas Earth. I found that kind of amazing. A lot of stuff to talk about and a lot of strategy. So I would advise, if you're brand new, check out a video on my channel. It's called Watch This Before You Play Atlas Earth, because I go through a lot of the points and topics about, what to look for in the game and what to do, what not to do, etc. Annalise says, many things on the roadmap are still there, I promise. Many of the features are coming soon. Coming soon, quote unquote. Lady Sharon said, on the point of as soon as you say a new thing coming up, people want to know, just look at the landmarks and auctions. Everybody just keeps saying win, win, win. Yeah, but to be real, those have been, quote unquote, coming soon forever, since like the beginning of the game. So, and I've been playing since, I've been playing for 15 months now, and it's been coming soon for 15 months. So that's what happens when you announce things prematurely. Yeah, people get their hopes up, right? It's all logical. But I've seen this in other games. It's just a progression and the team learning that, you have to be really sure you're going to do something before you announce it, that it is being worked on. And then if you are going to announce a date, you have to be really sure that you're going to be very close to that date. Lee says, oh, I want to go back to the good old days of 18 cents, the nostalgia. Okay, well, we're at the top of the hour. I just want to step back and say thank you, everybody around the world, for stopping by. I appreciate it. Like I said, all the time you spend watching my videos. I always started out that way because, I'm a graybeard. I just like to say thanks for spending time with me, right? And thanks for coming on a weekly basis. So David gets the last word here of the show. Says, I found your channel early on into my AE journey. I've watched quite a few of your videos and already picked up some good tips. So thank you for that. Well, thanks for watching, David. Like and subscribe. So anyway, everybody have a great week, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, and fingers crossed, I might have another 25 parcels by that point. Either way, everybody have a great week, and I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy.